And so first I need to put a bend in it. I'm just going to trim off the top part, hopefully without breaking my scalpel blade. Now, because this is way too long, I just now need to measure upside down how far it needs to be cut off. Right, that's just about the right size. So now the next thing I need to do is add a little bit of banding. And what I've got here, just off camera, is a little strip of masking tape that I've cut down. Try and get it sticky side down. What I can do is just wrap that around. He says, I'll start lower down. I need to do a couple. Wrap that around the tube to create the idea of the brackets or the joints. It's a bit of both. So this is just a very thin strip of masking tape I've cut off with the scalpel. I'll need a few of them. Just see there, it just creates a nice little ridge. Gives it a bit of a 3D effect rather than just being a plain rod. Good evening, Georgia. Is it really hot and muggy where you are? It certainly is here. And now I just need to add a little dab of super glue. Let me just move up here. So I've done quite a few bits today, off camera. I've added a few bits to the chimneys and guttering, etc. So I'm just doing a bit more detailing and then I'll go around and paint all the bits that I haven't done yet. Which is rather a lot, really. I like to use the thicker super glue for this part because it then doesn't sort of run everywhere. So I'm actually doing a little bit of artistic license with this section because in reality there's another building that runs off here, so this bit of drain pipe sort of comes off that angle onto the next part of the building. Then there's a drain pipe here that runs off onto a sloping roof, neither of which exist in this reality. So I'm going to do a drain pipe that runs onto the roof here, and then another drain pipe that just drops down to the floor. So I'll just go through that process again with a new piece of strip. I've not got an awful lot of cutting mat to work with, so bear with me. I just like to start with a little bend first. Although, to be honest, this one doesn't need one. I can put a bend at the bottom. It's been absolutely hot. Yes, I've not been able to do an awful lot of work because this room's just too hot. So I've done a bit, and then when I felt it's been too hot, I've had to go off and do something else. I was trying to do some work in the garage as well yesterday, and yeah, I couldn't last longer than like 5 minutes before it was too unbearable to work. Right, so again, I'm just going to wrap some of this masking tape strips around the pipe. to give the illusion of a bracket. I have used plastic strip in the past, but it has a tendency to I've got that the wrong way around. It's the plastic weld that I use to stick it together tends to melt it, and it's not as easy to put on. Gives a sturdier result, but it tends to be quite tricky to put on. So, like I say, I find the paper strip to be an easier task. It's also quicker because you don't have to mess around with waiting for solvents to set. And if I put a dab of super glue behind it, it will convince it to hold in place. Okay, so this is a bit of drain pipe I want to run just down there. Try and decide whether these are suitable or not, but they will be. So for now, I'll just put a dab of thick glue at the very end, and then on each little bracket. Put that on there, and kind of hiding the seam between the two buildings. A little bit of activator spray, persuading it to set put. So there we go, there's our drain pipes for there, starting to take shape. Now that drain pipe there takes care of the water, so the rainfall from this side. This one doesn't have one, but there's another one that drops down from that height. Strangely enough, there's also one there. Well, not strangely enough, it's because of the way the roof works. We'll have another one on this drop here that will handle all the rainfall from that part and the rainfall from this. So I think there's a drain pipe rod on that corner as well. I can't remember, I'll have to look at the photographs. So I've drawn a small pencil line on the bottom of there. You might just be able to see that's ground level. So I don't need to go all the way down. Hey Pip, how's Pip? Day off for Pip, that's brilliant. It's been a very hot and muggy day here today. Now it's just started raining. We're supposed to have thunderstorms. I'm not sure exactly how accurate that's going to end up. It's certainly just raining at the moment, but not raining hard, it's just a gentle tapping down. Oops. And more thumbs. It is losing a bit of its stickiness. I'll just cut off another piece. That is Not very sticky anyway. So I'll just pan you down. What I've done is stuck a piece of tape down to the table, and then with my straight edge I'll just slice off something less than 1 millimetre long. And now let's put another piece on. I've just got some masking tape stuck to this because this is how it arrived packaged up. It was all bound together. There we go. And this one I just want to put a little bend in it. Then I'll put it upside down. Mark the height. Trim. Trying to remember which way around I wanted this. That way. Good evening, Raymond. How are you doing? Sorry, I always call you Raymond because that's what your username comes up as. I'm not trying to be sort of over familiar or over formal. Just pan up and show you the state of play at the moment. I'll have to come off, go a bit wobbly, steady cam. So what I've done today is added a bit more detail into the top of this chimney here. Glued the chimney in place, put the chimney pot on. We've added some detail into that chimney there and the chimney behind. And then if I can just come down that side, we've got all the guttering and drain piping in on that side. So I don't know if you saw that as well, but we've got the roof in on the outbuilding section and the courtyard is glued in place. So I'm just working my way around, adding on the remaining drain pipes. I think my wiring is going to get stuck underneath. I think I've just got one here and I can't remember where the drain pipe is on this section, so I'm just opening up the laptop with the photographs on it just to double check. So I've added all the guttering onto all the low buildings. I've added this chimney pot on here as well. So all our chimneys are on, apart from one. I've got the chimney pot to make for this bit, which is a little bit different. I say I'm now just trying to identify the location of another chimney. Sorry, not chimney. What do you call it? I can't think of the right word. Drain pipe. There's a drain pipe for definite that runs down here. Well, I think there must be one on this corner. Yes, there is. There's one that just runs off here. So that deals with the rainfall from this section. So there's just one to add down here. And then there is one to add on that section there. I've got a very creaky chair today. It's starting to get a bit dark now, so I'm going to turn my light on. Where did I put my scalpel? Okay. So now I always bend the pipe if it needs one with a pair of tweezers so you get the double curve, and then just to make sure it's the right height I just switch it upside down. Not the height I want. And just off camera, because it's focused elsewhere, I'm going to trim off that bottom so now we've got the full height. Just double check. I'm a bit tall. Just put a slight bend in at the bottom. Okay, right, time to add a little bit of supporting strip. So I'll just peel a bit off my masking tape stash that's just at the bottom there. It does photograph well in the sunlight, doesn't it? I'm going to have to take a few more. But you can't beat a bit of sunlight for enhancing the look of a model. I always try and get some good pictures outside. I haven't taken very many decent in-progress shots of this because I just haven't had a chance to take it outside. It's getting very much towards the photogenic stage though now. I painted up all the shutters yesterday, so I'm hoping to fit those tonight. I wanted to kind of do an Instagram style post to show those being installed, but we'll see. I might just have to pretend on one of them. Just bring you down a second. I think there must be another drain pipe here. There must be, because otherwise where does the water go? So I think I'll add a final drain pipe just down that section there, and then we're all drain piped, apart from, as I say, that one over there. I do like adding drain pipes because it just brings that extra touch of realism. My glue is clogging up. This is why it's taking a while. Just take the end of it off. I just want to persuade that to bend back a little. There we go. Right, let's get that one in up there. I'm going to have to put some oil on my chair, I think. It's really starting to creak a lot. Good evening, Dave. Good to see you again. I hope you've had a good Saturday. Not quite got enough glue on there. Which way around is it? That way? Yeah. And I need some on the bottom. I'm probably going to have to persuade it with a little bit of activator spray. There we go. That's that bit. Right, like I say, I think I've got another one just on that corner there. There should definitely be something anyway. Ah, that's where it is. It's a good job I checked, isn't it? So actually, the drain pipe comes off that section onto this bit of roof here. Then there's a bit of gutter that I've missed off. Then must take it into a little water butt in the corner. There's nothing inside this one, Jamie. It is lit though, there is a light. There you go, Raymond. Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. I've just found it myself as well. So it's always a good job for checking. In fact, I probably noticed that the other day, but I've completely forgotten about it. So what I need to do is, again, just measure the height of it. Sometimes they do, Jamie. It all depends on whether the client asks me to put an interior in or not. It is twice the amount of work, so it can double the cost, but yeah, I do like adding interiors. It just brings a different dimension to it. But in this case, no, it's quite a complex model. A lot of the rooms aren't actually lived in at the moment, so they'd be empty. I have put some lighting in, just to give it a bit of interest in the dark, I suppose. But all the windows are kind of masked, either with curtains or the room has been painted black too, just to create the illusion of depth inside. Although each room does have actual depth, it's just there's nothing inside to illuminate. Thank you, Jamie. You're very kind. This has probably taken me about 2 months to build. I vastly underestimated just how complex it was going to be. But it's been fun. Tweezers. Just come over there a bit. There's a bit of floating plastic there. That's part of a wall that I'm yet to put in. So there's an area of planting or two to go in the courtyard. I've marked off on the floor where the planting is going to be. I haven't done it yet. do love this stuff. There we go. Just give it a bit of a twist before it fully sets. Just see in the distance there one of my shutters. I was trying it out yesterday, so I've painted them up. That's one of the shutters, so they will fit inside the window like that, except they will stick in place, not fall off. But I need to glue several of those back to back to create the right thing. Can't think of the word. To create the right depth. Now I just need something which I haven't got hold of. I just need something to create a quick bit of guttering. Just see if I've got anything in my plastic strip stash, which is getting smaller and smaller by the project. Sorry, that rattling is just me rummaging through my supplies. See if I find anything. If not, I'll have to make something up. This might do it. It might be a bit overkill, but it might do. If I just, yeah, it's a little bit big, but it will work if I just tuck it underneath. That's a good point there, Ray. It'll have to, we may have to come up with a compromise then, because maybe we can just do like an ideal scenario size. It's not marking. I'll do it the other way so I don't end up with that green bit on. There's a bit of green kind of marker paint on the end of the piece. That's just to enable the people that sell it to know what size it is. Yeah, I mean, it would look quite realistic, wouldn't it? But, whoops, excess has just gone fire under there. But then again, like you say, it would hide too much of it, so, you know, we can certainly put all the shrubbery around. So I think it needs to sort of stand maybe as tall as that, I don't know. I can have a play with that. I can mock it up before I actually make it, so we can have a think about that. I'm looking forward to putting all the little bits of vegetation that crawl up the side there and up the side of that side as well. Yes, definitely a case of artistic license. Like I said, this is artistic license. It's a little bit of plastic strip for the guttering. It's a bit too big, but once it's tucked under here, you won't be able to tell. It's too big at the moment, it's too long, it's getting caught on something. There we go. But it just adds a little bit of story as to where that water's going off the roof of that one, rather than just splashing down. So let's just try and glue this in place then. And this will be the very last bit of guttering. I want to use the thicker one for this as well because it's quicker setting. I've used this quite a lot and we're starting to run out. My favourite glue. again. That now just wants painting grey. I'll give it a bit of time to set in because otherwise otherwise I'll end up getting my paintbrush clogged. Right. So this little bit of plastic you've just seen here is actually a little bit of wall. I need to stick that there, and then I can carry on that height wall around this section. This will be a planted area. All this is going to be hidden with a slope. I'm just trying to work out my lines there. So I think what I'm actually going to do now is just wait for all those drain pipes to properly glue. I know I've glued them with super glue, but sometimes the glue doesn't fully cure, and if you run a paintbrush over the top of them before it hasn't cured, then you end up with clogged paintbrushes. So what I might do now is a little bit of creaking in my chair. No, I might do a little bit of shutter placement because we haven't done anything. I was going to wait till I was further on in the build to do this, but I'm going to squeeze out some super glue. I'm not squeezing out super glue at all. I'm squeezing out a bit of... What is it? What is it called? Wood glue. That's the word. Wood glue. And now I can't find my cocktail sticks. Right, so what I'm going to do is just glue these back to back with wood glue because I don't want to end up with ruining this with super glue. So some of them are looser in the frame than others. In fact, I don't know why that one's so stuck together. I'm going to tease them apart with a scalpel. I think maybe the things I decided not to do the final cut. Either that or I messed up with the drawing and didn't put a cut line between these and just left it as a score line. Either way, they have come apart quite easily, which is good. Oh, you're watching film. Enjoy. Enjoy. Thanks for dropping by anyway. I know I've not been around much recently. I'm going to need tweezers because otherwise I'll glue my fingers. So I only really want to put the glue around the edges, otherwise it'll seep through the gaps. This is laser board, so it's almost card. It's not too dissimilar to card. So wood glue glues it quite nicely. I will have to paint those edges. There's rather a lot to do with these. Rather a lot of these to do. You see though, those just peel out. So that last one, I don't know why it was stuck down. The only thing I can think of is that I'd either not put the last row with a cut line between them, or the laser had just decided not to cut. I think all those are the same, so I don't know. It's a while ago now since I cut these, so who knows. I've had certain little decorative elements just cut and waiting until I sort of finally got round to all being ready to add them. Look like solar panels. Do a bit, don't they? Hopefully they'll look like shutters when they're in place. Yeah, they're really quite fine. That's just 2 windows worth. Oh, I keep dipping my arm in the glue. I might just put a few of these together and then do the rest off camera because it is rather tedious. The reason why I'm gluing two back to back is to represent the shutters being folded in on themselves, because there's two pairs of two either side. So you can imagine if they're all sort of fully shut, then there will be sort of 4 panels in the arrangement, but when it's open, they're two pairs folding on themselves. So I'll just have to paint those edges green, or at least one set of them green. But I couldn't do that when it was still in the fret. Right, next time, it's a bit fiddly that, so I'm going to put those to one side for a bit. And, not fiddly, tedious. Fiddly's not too bad. It's just a bit tedious for watching. So I'll put those to one side for a little while. And perhaps I'll cut them off camera. Don't put glue on there, I just need a scrap piece of card, which I'll use down here. I'll squirt a bit of glue on it down there. So if I just dip the edge of my frame in the super glue, and then I'm just going to feed that in. Watch my arm. There we go. It's really quite difficult to see. Just so I can change the angle. You'll just have to rest assured that they're in there. I'm going to put them all in, apart from the final one, which I want to save for doing a special little portrait version of the filming. So I'll put the shutters in, and then I will I'll dab some paint on the outside edge, and then see if I can just zoom in for you to show you what it looks like. Oops, and then my clumsiness, I just knocked the drain pipe off there. I'll put that back on again in a minute. Oh, I really need to oil this chair somehow. It's just refusing to play ball. There we go, just need a bit of... Oh, come on. So, yes, done it. Just needed a little bit of persuasion and shifting of my arm. So I'm going to leave the centre window for now. I'll put that on in later. I haven't actually cut or stuck the pieces together for that bit yet, but I'm going to do that one separately for an Instagram and a short. So it's just nice to see the placement, although if anything goes by the trouble I've had doing this, it might not be able to do it in one take. There's always a couple of troublesome ones, isn't there? Okay, there we go. Right, let me get my green paint. What kind of English is that? Let me get my green paint. This is just some Umbral. I've forgotten the colour now. It's a grass green type colour. But anyway, it's a really good approximation of the type of green that's in use sort of throughout. So, because I don't have a palette, I'm just going to squeeze some onto this piece of wood here, and then we'll get a thinnish paintbrush. I'll just dab some paint on the insides of those frames. So, let me see if I can just zoom in a bit better. I can change the angle so I can actually see those frames. See, can you just see the shutters there now? So there's just a central one to finish off there. I'll do that in a bit because, to be honest, I'm fed up of constructing frames after only four. Right, so I'm going to crack open the light grey now and just touch up some areas that need some attention colour-wise. So this is some Citadel colour. I'm going to go around and paint all those areas now that need to be painted light grey. Although, before I do, I'm just going to glue that drain pipe back in that I've forgotten about. Et voila. I'll leave that one till the very last because I don't want my paintbrush getting clogged like I was talking about. So I'm just going to go over now and paint all my gutters and drain pipes. This all looks very clean and bright at the moment, but once I've painted the light grey base coat, I'll go over it with a black oil wash, just to age it all up. I made these pieces of gutter by laser cutting some small strips of 0.3mm laser board and adding a fine groove line to enable me to fold it upwards. And then I also cut lots and lots of small strips that you can just see there that I then glued on for the additional detail. That took a long time, and of course I did that off camera. It would have been easier to have painted the drain pipes before I put them on, but then you run the risk of getting glue all over your paintwork. Swings and roundabouts. I'm expecting my son to call any moment again for collection from the gym, so I may have to shoot off suddenly, fairly soon. Got to be careful when I pick this up now, for fear of knocking some tiny little bit of guttering detail off. One of my favourite little bits here, this chimney pot that I made. Just a little bit off camera there, but I made a custom little ceramics. So the detail that you can see there, that sort of moulded bit there, that's just a bit of Fomex stacked together. And then I made this little cowl out of some card and plastic strip. And it's just in the background at the moment. Sorry, I can't click you back on. I just can't get a decent angle on the camera now because I've got to go quite high up and the tripod won't extend any further. I think the bolt that holds it together has come loose, so it won't point upwards. This is still the French Chateau. Okay, yes. It seems like it's been the project of the year. I'm just painting the top of the spire here. You can't see it because I can't get up there to show you. But I'm just giving that a coat of the light grey like with everything else. And now I just want to paint the other side of this ridge here, which is going to be very difficult. Especially with the fact that I've not got my glasses on. That's a bit better.